of Hope Spring Italian Introduction Agency and the founder of Voice Talk Shows. With me today, I have lovely Carol Ann Cooper. Carol Ann, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Good afternoon from London, UK. And as the writing facilitator, what I do is I support soul-driven entrepreneurs in becoming more productive with their writing by connecting them with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within and getting their book written, getting their story written, because you cannot publish what isn't written. And all of this has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So I'm Carol Ann, the writing facilitator. So thank you.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol Ann. So our topic today is how to stop overnight thinking. So I am actually interested to hear, because this is a very useful topic, how you basically managed to change the topic, to choose the topic, and how has it affected you, or do you know anyone who has been affected by the topic?
And it's every time these topics just sort of come to me as I'm watching different programs or just get from what others are talking about, or other talk shows that might be on telly, just see the topics that they're generally discussing. And very often it's not very many, but now and again one or two just sort of grab my attention and think, oh, wouldn't mind exploring that. And I know that late night thinking has often caught me awake, and got me awake, and for various reasons. Sometimes it's worrying, and other times it's because I've been so excited. I've got all these ideas going on, and it's like my brain can't stop. So there's just no way I can get to sleep. So I just thought, yes, it would be a great topic to explore, because I would imagine there's a lot of people that are worrying. And the reason it generally happens at night is because that's when our brain just starts beginning to chew over what happened through the day. Because very often we're so busy that we don't have time to give our brains that time to process what's going on. So when we're trying to go to sleep, it's like our brain goes, oh, I got time to think now. And so off it goes, and it starts processing and understand or make sense of what's going on. So generally that's why it happens at night time. And as I said, it can be for various reasons. So and sometimes there's anxiety, sometimes it's because of stress, sometimes because it's just self-doubt or self-esteem, or just I've got all these ideas and they're going ping, 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 and it's like you want to capture them, and your brain's just getting really creative, because maybe you haven't had that chance to let that creativeness happen through the day. So there are very often various things that I use, and one of the things I do is if I really can't get to sleep, I will get up. I will get up and I will write down all the ideas that are coming to me, and just write them down so that I've captured them. Because my main concern is that I'll forget them, because normally by the morning I have forgotten. And even times when I've gone to bed and I think, oh, I'll remember that. It's a good idea. I'll remember that. Can I remember in the morning? No. And then I get really cross with myself, because I know, I think I can never remember it in the morning. So get up, write it down. And I find getting up and out of bed and doing it better than just having a piece of paper at the side. Some people, might find it easier to just have a bit of paper at the side, but getting up, it's moving your body as well. writing it, go back to bed. If it's still other ideas coming up, get up and I'll do it again until I reach a point where I just go to sleep. So that's one aspect which you can apply to overthinking or your mind going on and on and on so that you can't sleep. So what about you when you saw this topic? How does it sit with you,
It's
Melissa?
actually, I know it's a big problem, this topic, for mostly for people who worry too much about life. Like we just talk about self-doubt, for people who have self-doubt about everyday things that are happening in their everyday life. I used to I never used to worry about things much when I was growing up in Africa. When I moved to United Kingdom, I actually started getting really worried about things. I wasn't sleeping properly until I started meditating, and it went away because I love my sleep. Basically, if I don't sleep, no one is going to be happy in the house, because basically I love my sleep. I rather get enough sleep than worrying about things, but it's something that you have to train your mind, you have to control it, and you have to be able to deal with it. If you don't deal with it, like we have businesses, there are times where you're trying to go to sleep, but then your mind is telling you you need to think about this, you need to think about this. So you have to learn. Basically, what I've taught myself is I need to switch off. There is time where I think about work, but there is time in my home with my family, means family. I can't think about work. The only thing that I would do is, if I'm thinking about work, if it's something like creative or something that is negative that is coming, instead of pushing it away, I have to get a pen and paper, write it down. And once I write it down, I know I'm going to go back to it. I have to switch off. I have to tell it. I have to speak to myself. Self talk. It's not the right time right now. It is time to go to sleep. And also, what I do is, uh, I steam a lot. So if there is a steaming rooms in the area, you can steam a lot as well. You can go for steaming. It relaxes your mind as well, when you go steaming, because we deal with the everyday stress like most parents. If you have children and you come home, you finish work, like working parents, you come home, you want to look after the kids, your husband or your partner, whatever, boyfriend, they want your spouse, they want your attention. Sometimes it can cause too much anxiety, if you don't know how to deal with it. So to be able, basically, to be able to deal with overthinking overnight, you need to be somebody that is very, very, very disciplined. It takes time. Basically, I meditate a lot. There's times where I meditate until I feel sick. Basically, feel sick, like physically
Yeah.
vomiting. That means it's working. It's actually is releasing uh, basically intentions in your body. It's more like a deliverance, like you are releasing everything that is inside of you. So you have to be disciplined, and you have to train yourself to actually train your mind. So when I
Mm.
saw this topic, I was like, yeah, this topic, it is a big problem. People are facing big problems. Like my father-in-law, when we were locked down, he wasn't sleeping. He would basically spend all night no sleeping. So you ask him why. He says, I just worry about everything of everything. Sometimes if I tell him about bread, I don't have bread, he will be worrying about it. Have you got bread now? Have you got this? Have you got that? So it's just, you have to choose your mental battles. What are they? Self-doubt. We all have self-doubt regarding our lives, but guess what? We were created to basically We were created to create our own purpose on earth. Everyone has a purpose on earth. So our purpose is not to worry about tomorrow. Our purpose is not to worry about what we're going to eat. If you know somebody who can help you, why, instead of worrying, why not go and seek help if you know that you can get help? And not to worry. I know some people may say, but it's easy and say done with by training. You'll be surprised what you can do when you start training. You'll be surprised. Training your mind.
Absolutely. And it does take that discipline and training. And yet, for a lot of people, it's not. It doesn't come that easy. And so it is using things like meditation. And there are meditations on YouTube, which you could listen to. There are many meditations out there, free ones. So it's not something you have to do for yourself. There are support resources out there. But I think it's also becoming aware of what is it that you're worrying about? Because you're right, the main thing that would have people overthinking these days is that worry and that concern, that fear about what's going on. And for many, it's like their jobs, being able to now pick themselves up again financially because of not maybe have been able to make that much money through this time, but also, are they still going to have a job? And that concern about, well, I don't, you've got your own values and principles, and you're being forced to deny them and go against them. And how do you work with that? So there's a lot of things to deal with, but I think there's two quotes I'd like to share right now, which is, I think and think and think. I thought myself out of happiness 1,000,000 times, but never once into it. Jonathan Safran Foer. And I thought that's a beautiful quote, because you never think you're into happiness. You only ever think yourself out of it, because the thinking is always about worries and concerns. Happiness is more a feeling, and it's about coming into the present moment. So it's getting present to what is going on. And another one by Van Wilder, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, you anywhere. And it's like, I learned that and I thought, it's true. It doesn't get you anywhere. It stops you sleeping. It impacts your health because of lack of sleep. So in that respect, it's getting you somewhere in terms of your health, but it's not helping you move forward in solving the problems or finding solutions. And so one thing that you can do is, as I said, on YouTube, there are meditations, but there's a specific music that you can listen to, different frequencies, which are really powerful. And I've often used these. And there's 432 hertz. Now that's H, capital H with Ed, hertz. And it's the frequency of the music. And that helps you find deep sleep. There's 852 hertz, which is about letting go of overthinking and worries. So look on YouTube for, just type that into YouTube, 852 hertz, and will come different ones of that vibration. And so you can listen to that. And that, again, it just shifts those brain waves to let go of the worrying. And then there's another one, 396 hertz, also helps you let go of anxiety, worries, and deep subconscious fears. So there's three different ones there that I've used, and I saw this morning that was there. So look them up, research them. You'll see other ones coming up, which all of a sudden you might think, oh, let me explore that. But there's those three that if you really are struggling to train your mind to be disciplined, just go on YouTube and pick those out and listen to them, because they will help. They just help to calm the mind down. They take the mind on a different vibration, a different frequency, and then you'll be able to get to sleep and you can let go of those worries. But, write them down beforehand and then do listen to this music so that they're captured. Because is there also, if you document these worries, is there a one that is recurring? Is there something that's really bothering you, something that's really worrying you? Because what you focus on is actually what you get. And I know when I wasn't able to pay my mortgage and I was really worried about losing the house, I could see myself going down that avenue. And all I could think about was, well, what's it going to be like? And I'd read stories about them and the bailiffs just chucking all your belongings out on the street and you having to sort it out from there. And as much as I attempted to stop thinking about it, because I knew that what you focus on is where you intention follows attention. I did a lot of work around that. I still kept coming back to, well, what's going to happen? What's it going to be like? And so, yes, I did take myself there. And what I actually found was there's another quote that I think is really man is not worried by your problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. And so I was worried. There was that anxiety about my problem. And that's what was worrying me. And I couldn't address that until it actually happened. And actually, no, I didn't get chucked out on all, or sorry, I didn't get all my belongings chucked out on. I got chucked out of the house, yes, but I was given 2 weeks to have a couple of days within those 2 weeks to clear that house. So it wasn't what I'd imagined or what I feared and what I kept focusing on. So, maybe I could have asked and got more information about it or researched it and found out, well, what actually happens. But it's like I couldn't talk about it. I kept thinking. And so you're in the space of carrying on going down that road. So at that time, I didn't know so much about that music that I've just suggested. It's only something I've learned since then, a bit more about, and other things that I could do. But and I'm actually realizing as we're talking that my anxiety, that quote has helped me realize it was the anxiety that kept coming back rather than what I was worried about, the problem itself. And I didn't deal with the anxiety. I didn't act and find out about it. And it's like it freezes you. It's as if you can't act. So it's finding ways to self. So have you ever found yourself in that situation at all where you've overthought something or you've taken yourself down an avenue and it's actually happened, Namsa? Whatever you're worrying about?
Yeah, I used to worry like that. I think a few years ago, but from 2016, I kind of trained my thoughts. Basically, I made a decision that because I realized that after the divorce and everything, I was like stressing myself, worrying about things. So when I used Paul McKellar's programs, I then moved to the Bible. And I trained myself basically to control my thoughts, not to ignore them or push them away, but to be aware of them. It's basically prioritize. Is you come to a decision where you make a decision that it's like when you have friends, you make a decision that do you want to keep these friends or do you want to let them go? Is the reason why I'm saying this is sometimes you have friends where sometimes you see that uh, your beliefs and your values don't align with their beliefs, so you have to let them go. So that's what I did with my thoughts. That what do I do now? That when I stop worrying, when I have problems faced with the challenges, what do I do? Is there, if I worry, what happens? I had to sit down and think. And what happens is when I worry, I get sick, I put myself to mentally illness and the sickness. So I made a decision to divorce one. I don't worry. Honestly, it's a very, 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 very tough decision. You have to basically you have to come and sit, you have to make a decision what is important to you in your life, because in life we're gonna be faced with so much challenges in life. And when you're faced with challenges, are you gonna stop worrying, or are you gonna solve the problem? For me, basically, is to solve the problem. If I can't, is I know that somebody else is gonna solve that problem. I hand that problem to somebody else, and I refuse to worry. Basically, basically my children the other day and their dad were like, he was like, I have decided not to worry, and I was like, it's taken you years and years to realize that worrying is just a worry. There are some things that you can't basically. There's some things you can't control. There are some things that you can. So it means crucify your flesh completely, living in the spirit. And that it takes the guts. It takes somebody with the guts. I'm not saying I don't feel normal feelings like everybody else, but I basically have to I don't know. It's just I made a decision that I pray. Sometimes if I have a problem, I just go to fasting and read the Bible, and just ask God to hand it over the problem to God to solve it. But those who have their own beliefs, you have to think about what is important to you. My father-in-law, he was sick. And today he was telling me that if we didn't help him, he would have died. And I know that deep down in my heart, I know he's not here. That's why I'm saying this. So I sat down with him and I told him, what is important to you? You're going to have to work that out. We can't work it out for you, but you're gonna have to work out what is important to you. You are facing these mental health problems that you have uh, due to lockdown, due to anxiety that are building up, and then he was diagnosed with the disease. So I said to him, you need to figure out what is important. So what he does now, he he doesn't ignore the battles. He fight the battles and until he gets to where he needs to go. And so that is the attitude that I have trained him to say, listen, what like he was in a hospital once. I looked at him and I was like, you want to get better? What is important to you? Your grandchildren. You want to spend time with your grandchildren. You're gonna have to fight using your grandchildren. That I want to be better for my grandchildren. I want to be better for my children. So I looked at him and I said, you're gonna have to fight that fight based on what is important to you. So that's what I ever had to do. For me, I fast. I'm a Christian, I fast. If I have to fast 40 days for my spirit, just to activate my spirit, stop living in the flesh, I do it without food. If I have to go 3 days dry fast without food, without water, for me to activate my spirit and stop worrying, I do it. And I've had so many people listening to so many people. There are some people basically you have to use your beliefs. because worry it destroys you. And I've seen it with myself, that how my character was when I was in Africa. I never worry about anything, because in Africa we grow food, we grow everything. If you don't have money, that means you have food. But here is tough. If you don't have food, it means money. You have to find money to go and buy food. So that means you've got to worry about finding money. You have worry about if you don't find money, if no one gives you money, where you gonna eat, where you gonna find food. There's so many things is different than the life in Africa that I had. So in Africa, we grow everything that we eat in our gardens. We've got big farms. Everyone gets to be given a farm. We grow things. It's different. But here, you depend on somebody else going to the supermarket, buying food. So that's what I had to train myself. Okay, no, sir, this is what's going to happen when you are faced with challenges. You're going to have to face them. You're going to have to look at these challenges and say, I'm not giving up. And then you have to train your mind to switch off, disconnect. Like the same way you disconnect with people that you feel that they are not in your environment, you have to train your mind to disconnect with the feelings that makes you uncomfortable. Because Carol, and you talk about money, you talk about when you are being denied, when you don't have food, you don't have uh anything in your life that you wish to have. It can feel like you're being denied your beliefs and values. So that can cause anxiety. But you then have to train yourself. How do you solve the problems? How do you actually approach? There are laws of charities that can help. No matter how much problem is in the United Kingdom, like other countries, people are so lucky. Instead of worrying about what am I gonna eat, you can go to charities that will deliver the food. You can go this when it comes to business. Get a coach, get somebody, or even not a coach. There are free coaches you can get online on government websites. You can type, if you don't have money, you can type coaches. There are free resources everywhere. Even at Ghost Talk shows, there are free resources that you can actually get in touch with people and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. Can you help? It's all about being able to approach some other people. Basically, is to have the courage not to be ashamed of problems. Because some people are ashamed of problems. We're not meant to be ashamed of problems. That's why I don't know the population in the United Kingdom, how many millions and millions, 60 something. The last time I checked, it was 65 or 68. That's why we are so many, meaning that somebody can help. We all live here on earth to help each other. No matter what we are going through, whatever we're going through, we should not be ashamed. The doctors are there for us to seek help. The mental health team is there for us to seek help. So we shouldn't be ashamed. Some people are ashamed. Me, I'm not ashamed of problems. People call me bonkers, but I'm not bonkers. It's something that I had to train myself. If I have problems, I basically approach people. This is what I'm going through. And one of those people that I have approached, there will be one that is going to help me. Or if I'm not feeling too good, I go to the doctors. Meditation, music. You talk about music, Carol Ann. So the secret of listening to music is you put your earphones on and you have to actually learn to disconnect from your feelings and receive the music in spirit. Listen the background. When you are listening to the music, don't listen to the lyrics. Listen to the background beat of the music first. Then you go back to the lyrics. You have to listen to the lyrics also that have a meaning to it, to your life as well. Have a meaning that will give me a meaning in life. You can't just listen to the lyrics, any music. Some music that we listen to, it connects people to problems. So you have to listen to good music, and you have to just approach people whenever you have problems. So you can stop that overthinking.
I agree that there is some music that actually takes you down that spiral, and you have to be aware if that's the sort of music that you're listening to.
Yeah,
And it's becoming aware, it's noticing. That's the training, is becoming aware, noticing when you're going in that spiral, notice what is actually causing you to worry and to overthink. And actually, that the music that I've suggested is, there are no words, it is pure sound. So it is what you were saying, it's listening on the sounds that you're hearing, and letting go of everything else, not doing something while you're listening to it. Sit and listen to it so that you can really hear that music, and follow it and be with it. And something else that you can do in the moment, if you very often, and I've suggested before, because it is about being here in the moment, because worrying is about being out there in the future, or being in there, and it's not about being here in the moment. So again, it's just saying to yourself, well, what can I hear right now? What else can I hear? Or is that? What else can I hear? And acknowledge what it is you hear. And just keep asking that question until you can feel that something changes and your mind changes. But also you can then say, well, what do I see? And go, oh, so I see those curtains. What else do you see? Well, I see that there's a car outside the window. What else do I see? And just keep bringing yourself into the moment. And you'll suddenly start seeing things. Oh, I see that and I see that. But then you notice how you're feeling and what's happened to your thoughts. You are in the moment. All of that overthinking goes, because you are literally here and nothing else exists but this moment. Something else that I often do, and I spent a lot of time last year doing it because I seem to be awake a lot. I seem to have difficulty sleeping with my breathing more then. I noticed today, actually, there's a depth to my breathing that's coming that wasn't there, that hasn't been there for a long time. But last year, I was waking a lot in the night, struggling with breathing. And what I would do, I would massage my feet and my toes, and then up my calves, just pushing into the muscle and just flexing my foot. So you could really work in, but massaging my feet, and feeling where there was any pain, and just gently, not digging into it, but just gently working it. Both the soles of my feet and the tops of my feet. And then I would find that would relax me. And I did a lot of that, and I me to relax and then go to sleep, because it is being able to get to sleep. So there are lots of techniques out there, and I think you're saying about it's training self, Nonsa. It's about becoming to what is actually going on. That's the training. It's the noticing of what you're thinking. So there's all of these techniques that we're giving you. And as Nomsa said, there's lots of free resources out there. There is this show where there's lots of ideas that you can take away, and implement them. Breathing exercises. There's one particular breathing exercise which is actually it's a brain gym activity. Now, brain gym are activities that help take away the stress of learning. It's part of educational kinesiology, which is about re-educating the body to move in a more efficient way. It's drawing out learning through movement, and we do a lot of noticing in educational kinesiology. But this one particular activity, you put your hands over your belly and you imagine there's a feather here, just going to keep it afloat. So you take a deep breath into into your belly, feel your hands coming out. And as you breathe out in little puffs, as if you're trying to keep that feather afloat until you've got no breath left. And then you will automatically take an in-breath, and then you do it again. So you just breathe in. And you see, I just automatically took that breath. And you do that a few times, and you can feel, because anxiety usually sits in your belly, and it relaxes the muscles of your belly. And I did that a lot last year. There are other breathing exercises that you can do as well, that all help retrain that breath, that breathing. But it also helps to relax your belly. Your gut is your second brain, and our emotions are in there. And so if you can relax that, we can notice right now, I feel another level of relaxation going on in my body. Just having done that activity once, I can feel there's something giving inside me. And again, it's noticing. And it's what works for you is what's best for you. They all work in different ways, but sometimes it's maybe not, that's not the one you want in that moment. So we've got all of these. I will use different ones depending what I think, what does my body want right now? And I used to listen to a few years ago, I listened to a lot of Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks. With Abraham Hicks, it's the channeled conversations and guidance, and there's some amazing guidance there to listen to. And I found listening very empowering, a lot of positive thoughts coming through. So self to notice, become aware of what is it that's causing you anxiety, problem. And then, because yes, like with my house, I was taking myself there, and I wasn't bringing any money in. But it's asking yourself, well, what can I do? Getting yourself present, saying, what can I do right now that will help me move forward? What can I do to help resolve this? And stay in the moment, because when you're in the moment, solutions come to you much more easily. When you're in that worrying state, you are frozen. Your mind doesn't think, your brain isn't active, so your mind's not able to think clearly. And I love what Brian Blatt says. He says, overthinking can lead to worrying, which leads to anxiety. Anxiety can at times be crippling, leave people frozen and unable to act. So it's freeing up that state of frozenness so that you can think and you can act. And actually getting up and moving helps to stop those thoughts as well. Yep, we've got lots to do, lots of suggestions here. And anything else you want to suggest, Nomsa? Any other things that there was something else I was going to say, but it's gone out my head at the moment. Come back.
And also write down whatever worries you, because sometimes when you write something down, that means that you've put it down, you can confront it as well. And when you write it down, uh, just confront it. Like you put the exercises, do some exercises, breathing exercises. Try not to worry, try hard to worry, because or if you are doing exercises, things are not working out, try not to be too hard on yourself, because your
Mm.
body and everything will respond when it's ready, and your feelings will respond if you actually let things happen naturally. And distract yourself as well with something meaningless. What has a meaning in your life? Just look at the things that mean something to your life and focus on them, and simply maybe shift your focus, like Tony Robbins says, by helping other people. Because if you basically focus on, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm going through, the universe needs to prepare your blessings as well. So if you're gonna keep going on and on and on, the universe will just step back. So but if you tell the universe or God and say, this is what I'm going through, and just go and help somebody else instead of worrying and focusing on things that you don't have control over. And basically write down. For me, writing down my feelings, it helps. It helps me a lot just to face, because if I write them down, I'm coming face to face. And also, as a Christian, I read the scriptures. I try to understand the meaning of the scriptures. What does it mean? When God says, do not fear, I'm with you, I will strengthen you, I'll uphold you, I'll hold your hand. What does it mean? So those words give me comfort. They give me, I have to actually, uh, because those are the promises from the Bible. If you are a Christian, you read the Bible, the promise is that every scripture that is written is a promise that God has made to you. So you have to testify that you receive those testimonies, that and you stop worrying about things that are not worth it. And once you realize the meaning of the scriptures, when you don't have money, you will not worry about money, because you come somewhere else. When you don't have food, or your health is not going the way it should be, focus on healing. How can I find healing? There are so many techniques that you can use to heal yourself. Instead of taking pumping medication, you can actually heal yourself. Use your mind to heal yourself. Use the scriptures to heal yourself. If you are somebody that believes in the universe, use the universe to actually heal yourself. So for me, basically, if I'm worried about something, it means that God is telling me to pray about it, and I give all the worries to Him, and and, and basically knowing that things will be sorted out. And I have to look back where, because like Carol, and like for me, I'm 43 now. I have to look back to the situations where God has pulled me through, the situations that I thought He would never ever pull me through. I have to look back at those situations and actually say, if He can pull me through in that situation, this situation, that means he's holding my hand. He knows what I'm going through. And then I have to tell myself that he will pull me through. He will come through for me. Even if the health is not good, you have to stay positive, and you have to learn to do some healing with your mind, because your mind, your body, your blood will accept what you accept. If you don't accept the sickness,
Mhm.
the doctors will tell you that you this, and then you refuse to accept it. You go back to the doctors, they'll be confused, because that sickness will disappear. So you just have to, you have to learn to be bonkers like me. My family call me bonkers, but I basically learned to crucify my flesh, and I've learned to actually live a life where basically if I have problems, I find people to help me with problems. I ask God to actually uh, help me with the situation or whatever I am going through. I ask the Spirit of God, which is the Holy Spirit, to testify the truth for my life on earth. This stress that I'm going through, is this my stress, or is it just the somebody in the universe playing mind games with me? So I basically read the Bible inside out to testify, asking God to testify the truth. Am I meant to have stress? And sometimes the problems will just disappear. The more I go bonkers, the more the problems will just disappear because I'm refusing basically to actually accept the problem. And I basically ask the spirit that bears record on earth uh, to testify, and the spirit that bears the record in heaven to testify. Am I meant to have problems? Really? Am I actually meant to have problems? And like we were talking about, you asked me to talk about to talk to my children about the moving house, the things that they are worried
Mm.
about losing, and the things that basically that worries them. And we're talking, we're worrying, and then it turns out that my daughter's father, because he told me he was moving, and moving like few minutes away from my daughter's school. So then, as we were talking, and then I was like, "Why do you guys put me so much stress? Like, if I was to accept the stress, I would have gone so much stress. Why you could just go and stay at your dad?" And even him, he was like, "Yes, I have a big home. While you guys are sorting out all this
Mm.
moving and worrying about settling in, who's living what, she can just stay here and then come back home and be settled in." And I was like, sometimes, and I said to my daughter, "Please, next time, don't worry me. Just come up with a plan." And she had a plan. She knew that her dad lives near the school. She didn't think about it. And I was like, "You
Mm.
have a home. You have homes where you can choose. If this one you feel like you need a break, you can just go to your dad. Just breathe." So I think it's all about finding a plan, basically. Just come up with a plan that you can solve the solution. And I know
Mm.
it can be tough for some people who have had mental health problems for a very, very long time. But if you are willing, basically, that person is they are willing to move away from those problems. They can actually get rid of the worry, overthinking by doing the meditation. What you were saying, Carol Ann, is very,
Mm.
very, very important. Meditation and praying, meditating like Christians, you meditate on scriptures and avoiding I made a talk the other day, the music. Avoid the artist playing the music of some other artist that are into occulting, because that brings depression. When you play those music for people who have joined the occulty, is depression, is anxiety, because they have joined the devil. When they've joined the devil, that means the devil does not want you to leave the depression, the mental health problems, the overthinking, because that is a hold. For him is a glory. So avoid those kind of music. Uh, so I don't know how people find out. For me, I basically have a list of artists that I don't listen to them, which I found out that when every time I listen to their music, I start behaving like them, basically. So you have to basically make sure that the music that, like the music you were suggesting, specific use meditation in music. Like you were suggesting, maybe when we finish Carol Anna, you can put it on the top of the video so somebody can actually go use meditation that music that has been created for meditation.
Mm.
and it does help because everything is in the head basically. We all
Mm.
wounded somehow when we were born, growing up, children. If you ask somebody lost something, we lose parents. That is a wound that can cause something, attachment in your life. Divorce, parents going through divorce, losing a home, like you talk about losing a home, is a wound that can cause long-term problems. And so you have to, we are basically broken. You have to know that we are here on earth to basically to fight the battles of freedom, survival freedom. So how do you fight that freedom? Is by refusing to actually have accept mentally health problems. It's a tough one, but you can. And breathing exercises you've suggested, which is they're really, really good. Did I write any notes? What were any notes if I can tell me?
Sorry, I couldn't make
Uh,
out what you said then.
breathing exercises, they do help.
Mm-hmm.
And organize your worries as well. Just organize them, communicate with
Yeah.
yourself. And what else can you do? Categorize them as well. I'll take a step towards
Mm.
solving problems. Because if you worry about something, there are some people who date the wrong people and they worry about getting out of relationship with it. There's no other option. If you're dating the wrong person, you need to get out. There are some people who worry about finances. If you are worried about finances, go online and look at the benefits that you are entitled to, you can claim towards your salary. And if you're worried that you don't get holiday, I'm sorry, you can survive without holiday. Holiday is not something that can send someone to insanity. So I'm sorry, I have no mercy for that. If somebody worries just because someone goes on a holiday and they can't go on a holiday, I'm sorry, that's not a problem. Because if you have food, for me, basically, I say if you have food, you have water, you can survive. So if you worry that I can't take my children on holiday and you're stressing yourself, I know to me, basically, to some people, it might mean a lot, but you have to choose the battles that are important to fight. Some battles, they are not. You could actually go on a holiday by visiting family members. Like myself, I'm here, I'm based in Helioten. I have friends everywhere around the country. So if I feel that I can't afford to go abroad, so I might as well contact my friend who lives in Birmingham, who lives in somebody who lives, my brother lives in Kent. I have friends in Essex. So I can actually have a holiday with my friends, and as long as I have food to eat. So you have to choose your battles when it comes to worry. And when you don't have, you have health problems, go to church, ask people to pray for you, go to there groups where you can meet up. Like if you have a similar sickness, you can meet up and talk about how other people, some people have had to go through the healing process, how they've healed themselves. You can join those groups and just be active. And it helps. It does help just to hang out with other people, and because there are some people, like every illness that you have, like we were talking about the cancer the other day. My friends were saying, if you go to cancer research, we were talking, and she was telling me that if you go to cancer research, they've made actually a law that no one can come forward and say they have cure for cancer. So I said, but that is a curse. They're cursing people if they are refusing to say cancer can be healed. People can be healed from cancer. So we were talking about it. And sometimes when you talk to people, you can have self awareness of other things that you think there might be a stumbling block in your life, but you may realize that they're actually not. Over to
And
you,
what
Carol
you were
Ann.
saying about somebody, yeah. So as you were saying about maybe somebody's worry is about how can I take my children on holiday? Well, for them, that is a real concern because if that is something that's important to them.
Yeah,
So sometimes we may just have to readjust our goals, our life's
yeah,
goals in that moment, and so that we don't worry,
yeah,
adjust things a little bit and think, well, okay, maybe in the future it's something I can do. Really get down to what is important right now
yeah,
and, as I say, readjust your life's goals a little bit. Um,
yeah,
it's not always comfortable. It's not always easy, but it's what it is about. It's your mental health at the end of the day. It's about your ability to be able to sleep, your ability to be able to feel comfortable within yourself, but to have a good night's sleep, because a good night's sleep is paramount to you being able to wake up refreshed and face the next day and literally be here in the moment. Um, as W. Clement Stone says, thinking will not overcome fear, but action will. So it is about
yep,
taking those actions. It is about doing something towards it. And as you were saying, sharing. You sat down and you talked with your children and what were their concerns, which was brilliant. So you found out what their concerns were, and all of a sudden, solutions arise. And it is in
yep,
conversation. When we keep it in our head, we're stuck in one track. Whereas you open up the conversation with someone else, other possibilities come to mind. It's about sharing it, it's about talking about it, but not making those worries and concerns wrong, because it's allowing someone to have their worry and their concern because it is so real for them. But it's about sharing it, talking about it, and then being able to come up with a plan or come up with some solutions that will then go, oh, alleviate it. And I loved what you said about look back. You look back at situations and you saw where he had pulled you through, and know that in the situation you're in now, he's holding your hand.
yep,
And I thought that was beautiful, beautiful, because it's so true. And sometimes that's what we lose sight of. So have those reflective moments and look back and remember, oh, well, I was there and I got through it. And I was here and I got through it. And now I'm here, and okay, it seems like I might never ever get through it. But something shifts by doing all this inner work, by reaching out, by sharing, and listening to meditations or music, and something that's just come to my mind is something I was looking at the weekend. I was going back over my speaking journey, and in 2017, I saw that I'd written a note to myself saying, I don't think I'll ever speak out. I'd got to that point in my speaking journey thinking, this is ever going to work. And now I'm here, I'm speaking out. I just followed the guidance. I trusted, I prayed, I did all of this work that I've been sharing with you and things that Noms has been suggesting as well. I've used all of that, and each bit has helped along the way. It's all been part of a little jigsaw puzzle, putting it together, but noticing each time where I'm a bit stuck and going, right, what can I do? And it's Rumi says, put your thoughts to sleep. Do not let them cast a shadow over the moon of your heart. Let go of thinking. And I thought that was beautiful. And as Brian Tracy says, he says, spend 80% of your time the opportunities of tomorrow rather than the problems of yesterday. So what opportunities might come your way, you know? So, yeah, just know that this too shall pass. It's a beautiful phrase. Just go up, this too shall pass. Because if you noticed, you got through before.
Yeah, you just have to trust, take action and trust.
Yeah,
If you have
yeah.
if you have pulled through before, then you can again, you can pull through. Just learn to trust.
Mm,
Uh, then everything else will fall into place.
yeah,
So do you
yeah.
have any words of encouragement, Carol Ann, before we leave?
Yes. Lavender oil is beautiful. Have lavender. My mum always had lavender oil around the place, but I often use lavender oil. I have it on a piece of tissue. I might just dab it on because it's one oil that you can actually put on your skin because it's great on burns. But I just dab it here and just rub it. So I've got that aroma and it's very relaxing. So that helps to calm your thoughts. And um, so one thing you can do, as Bernie Siegel says, most of us never stop to consider our blessings. Rather, we spend the day only thinking about our problems. Gratitude. Gratitude. If you think about what you're grateful for, you think about your blessings, your worries just drift away. So be grateful, do a gratitude journey or journal or just speak it out. What am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? And spend time thinking about your blessings. And yeah, things will go. This too shall pass.
Thank you so
That's
much. Thank you so much, Carol Ann. I spent time thinking about my blessings. So that's what
yeah,
I leave you with, what Caroline has just said. Have gratitude. Think about your blessings. And I'm going to spend time in looking at my life and thinking of where God has given me blessings. And do I have a right, like when I'm faced with challenges, do I have a right to actually say, oh, to blame God? No, I don't. Because I have to look back where He's pulled me through and just be grateful and look at it and be grateful that He will do it again. So, like what Carol Ann is saying, be grateful of your blessings. We've had so many blessings in life. Like myself, I look back at my life and I say, there are people that I grew up with. They're in Africa. They live completely different life than myself. And God has given me this life. So I have to thank Him every single day for the life that He gave me, and giving me the courage and strength to basically go on and be a fighter, fighting for what I believe in, fighting for basically for my blessings to come to pass. And if you are watching this and goes to talk shows, that we have different speakers from all walks of life. If you have a problem, just reach out to us. And we are here Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. And just everything that we talk about, you've had Carol Ann talking about losing a home. We talk about everyday lives where the lives that people have gone through. That's what we talk about. It's real. So we know that there are some people who are struggling with overthinking, depression, anxiety. Just reach out. We have speakers, we have coaches that are qualified. I'm not qualified for mental health problems, but we have other coaches that are qualified. They can help you. And we'll see you next week, everyone. And God bless you. Live with grace.
right.